Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Visit squarespace.com/BrendanVanton for more details. Good morning. It is absolutely beautiful this morning in Venice. It's not like it's blue sky beautiful, but it's like dramatic, epic beautiful. I'm living for this. This is awesome. We are heading into the Dolomite Mountains, or just the Dolomites today. And yeah, hopefully we can stay dry and warm, because apparently there's some crazy weather on the way. So let's find Greg, let's find a water taxi, and let's find a car, and let's get to the Dolomites. It's a fairly typical day in Venice. Moody. There's a sprinkle of rain and the streets are mirrors of gray. There's both sun and rain. There's both optimism and bleakness. Along with my group of photographers, we roll through the narrow alleys and load ourselves onto a water taxi. The sun pokes out, and all of a sudden we're awash with excitement. At the airport, we change transport. From boat to bitumen, 10 bitchin' men get ourselves settled into vans and start to roll into a blasting of fall colors in the Dolomites. So after a bit of a drive, we've ended up in Cortina, up in the Dolomites. It was really cloudy and rainy the whole way up here, and just now the clouds have started to lift to show off the epicness that's here. So we're gonna go out and make some photos, I think. Made it up to Lago Antorno, I think it's called, which I've actually never photographed because there's never been water when I've come up here. And it is epic up here right now. The reason I tend to come to the Dolomites this late, which is after most people come here in the fall, is because you get this blending of winter and fall colors if you're lucky. And right now we've got frosty trees, still some fall colors, and some absolutely insane peaks. This is my favorite time in the mountains. The time where winter starts to pierce through fall. The air is crisp, the landscapes are moody, and the colors just seem to pop that much more impressively. So I think I found the first photo that I like, which is actually, there's some reflections this way, some grass in the water as a foreground, and then yeah, you've got the mountain peaks off in the distance. The light's super soft and beautiful, and so I'm gonna make a photo. Probably keep it simple, f16, and whatever seconds that ends up being, probably about 1 second. Here we go. The photo I made is okay, but I'm always trying to improve things. There's just something missing. I've been struggling actually, because it's so nice, but I'm like trying to compose a whole photo rather than just have a nice background. And I've been looking at these reeds down here in the lake and admiring them and trying to find a way to get them in my foreground somehow while still having the reflection and the mountain and the lights. And it's been a struggle, because anytime I dip my camera in, my camera is actually like all the way in the water, fully open. That's how deep it is right there. But every time I do that, it moves my foreground, so I can't really plan the foreground. I've got to just dip my camera in and hope the foreground works. But I think I think where I have it now kind of works. It kind of minimizes the mountains a little bit, but I'm not really that bothered by it. But it looks cool. It's f/16, 2.5 seconds. I feel like this photo feels more composed than the last one. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. As the light softens, I take a photo I forget to talk about. I think I was so excited by the photo, I just didn't think to vlog it. Basically, I found this beautifully messy reflection. I photographed it, and then when flipped, it looks painterly. It feels like art. It might actually be my favorite photo of the year. Woo, so that was just an epic first sunset. I mean, even over here, there's still tons of color and light. I probably actually packed up my camera gear a little bit early. I like having the little bits of light on the top of the peaks, and as soon as that ended, I packed up. And then after that ended, we started getting all this purple and blue and pink in the sky. So I'm kind of kicking myself right now, but that was an epic first sunset. And I'm glad we got this in because apparently the weather is supposed to take a turn. At some point over the next couple of days, it's supposed to get nasty. So this was epic. I mean, look at this still. I should have my camera out. What am I doing? I definitely packed up too soon. But the best thing about photography and life in general is there's always tomorrow. In the morning, I scraped the frost from my windscreen with a credit card. You know, because I'm a baller. And we slid off towards one of the most famous photo locations in Italy, Lago di Brescia. The morning is full of atmosphere. Heavy clouds blanket the forest and suffocate the mountains. A gentle wind kisses my nose as I settle down on a rock along the lake, waiting for the light. It's dramatic, eerie, and like a scene from a film. Cinematically, we wait on bated breath, hoping for the weather to lift. Eventually, there are signs at the perfect moment in which the mist still dances on the lake while the mountain peers overhead is gonna happen. Our mood shifts from hushed to energized. We took a couple images in the fog. Now I'm right next to the boathouse pier, and the camera's time-lapsing, but it was taking photos. And the composition's kind of a little bit messy, but it kind of still works. You've got the pier from the boathouse moving down into the reflection and the mountain peaks, and then tucked away off on the right-hand side, you have the church as well, and then all this beautiful fog in the middle. So I wasn't sure this was gonna happen this morning, but now this is absolutely awesome. Just another perfect morning. We leave Lago di Brescia feeling accomplished. The weather forecast has been teasing a storm, but so far it all seems overblown. Knowing the weather is meant to change on us, we're making the most of it. We push our way up a mountain pass to again find ourselves surrounded by snow, ice, and epicness. Yeah, I'll follow me. Follow me, young folks.
All right, leader, we trust.
We've come to kind of like a classic photo spot, which is this pond on Gal Pass. I think that's how you say it, Gal Pass, something like that. I've got water all over the lens, sorry about that. Not sorry enough to clean it, but sorry about that. And it's a little bit frozen, and the sky's a little bit dull in that direction. And with an impending storm coming, I thought it would be a fun idea to try something crazy. So I am mountain guiding two of my buddies up here, up this ridge, in hopes of finding an angle of this crazy peak leading down into the fall colors of the valley. I think it'll create like a really nice juxtaposition of like winter into fall. And I don't know if it's gonna work because I've never been up there, but we're gonna go check. I've been asked a lot about what I prefer, photography or travel. The answer is always travel. For me, it's these moments of exploration and discovery that I value.
crunching through fresh snow on frozen grounds, hopping across rocky patches and cracking through icy mud. These are the moments that make you feel like an explorer. These are the moments I chase. And the photos are only there to represent the moment of that discovery, the feeling of the space that I stand.
Part of my life update video that I didn't mention is that I've lost quite a bit of weight. I lost like 7 kilos in total, 8 kilos, and probably put on 2 or 3 kilos of muscle. So I should be more fit than I am. The second thing is, off camera, I just ate the world's biggest pizza. And so that's my excuse. Yes, we're at 2,300 meters, but the pizza is the problem. I'm almost at the top here. Let's see what this looks like as I exert myself to the point of passing out. Whew. Jeez. How are Italians skinny? Oh my God, that's epic. Whew. So I think this is one of those better in life than photography situations. It is unreal here, absolutely beautiful in the snow, in the fall colors in the valley. But from a photography standpoint, I actually think it was better a little bit lower, where you had more drama in the mountains. So I think I'm gonna go back down and pick out a spot that has a composition with this pointy fellow over there. So this is when you know you're getting better as a landscape photographer, when you're no longer willing to settle for just an awesome view, but you're looking for the little details in that view. I've come up to this spot that looks like the perfect spot to photograph, but I actually feel like, despite the fact that it's epic, I want to be a little bit farther to the left, because right now it's almost like a split image, whereas I want to create diagonals and I want to create triangles in my foreground. So I want the snow not to be a straight line. I want the snowy line to kind of be an angle that points towards the big pointy guy over here and forces your eye to bounce through the image rather than just obviously seeing what's there. You're kind of following the diagonals of it. So I'm gonna go a little bit farther down, and then I think I'm just gonna set up for sunset there as this helicopter is trying to ruin this take.
I pop down the ridge until I find a spot I'm happy with. This is the photo I've come up with. See how the eye is drawn to the bottom and then leads back up to the peak, then back across? Okay, maybe it's just me. One of my big goals with my photos is to try to keep you looking at the image as long as possible. It's what I'm thinking about when I'm composing. The light fades into gray and we waddle like penguins back down the pass. In the morning, the rain started. So I've decided that we should take a wander through the forest in hopes of finding fall colors, fog, or both.
So with this impending bad weather coming in, we decided to go for a walk. You can't really see the mountaintops. Hoping to see fall colors, but I think we ended up on the only trail that doesn't have fall colors, or a lot of them. And I'm absolutely drenched, but as we say, a bad day in the forest is better than a good day in the office.
What might look like a wasted morning to some photographers feels like a massive victory to me. This location is really cool. Mint blue colored water cuts through limestone landscapes and are backdropped by forest and peaks. Much of the Dolomites feels like a transition between human and nature, but here it feels remote and wild. Though I don't take a picture here, it's on my plans to return someday. We head back to Cortina with heavy rain now pummeling us. We pack our things, and we hit the road towards Bolzano.
So, it is snowing. The weather is rough, like really rough, and has been for about 24 hours. And it was supposed to clear. And as we went farther and farther up the mountain, it just got, like the rain turned to snow. So, I don't know if it's gonna be a good picture here, but how often do you see it like this? So, we're cruising up to St. John's. Yeah, gonna see if I can get a photo in the snow, probably just handheld, and I might need to go back to the car and change lenses.
This is one of the classic locations in the Dolomites. It's usually backdropped by a sharp grin of mountain peaks. Today, it's snowing so heavily you can hardly see the church. It's obviously not ideal, but I have plenty of photos of this location with the mountains, so at least it's something a little different. Just down the hill, we hike off to another classic Dolomites photo spot. And though the forecast says the weather is clearing, we hike off through cloud and snow.
So according to the weather forecast, it's clearing right now, but it's definitely not. We're in the clouds, it's snowing, but to be honest, it's absolutely beautiful right now. It's so incredible, and I feel a little bit bad for the participants in my workshop because you can't see the mountains in the background that are there, but the conditions as they are also phenomenal. This beautiful snow, some fall colors, some lingering fog. I don't know if I'm gonna take any photos of this or if I'm just gonna enjoy it, but just like hanging out, sitting in this is just been awesome. But the fingers are crossed the clouds come out. No, not the clouds, the mountains come out, and we'll wait here until sunset.
Lazily, we stand in place, outwardly remaining positive, but inwardly not believing it'll clear. Then, we see a glimmer of hope pop through on Greg's drone. Some warm sunlight pierces through a hazy horizon.
I don't think that light's gonna punch through over here. I think it's just still too dense, and I just don't think there's enough time. It's starting to lift over here behind us. It's starting to lift a bit on the peaks, and the glow is getting closer and closer. I just don't think it's gonna happen. That being said, there's still like a 3% chance it might. So we are set up here on the road, hoping that it busts through.
Within seconds of filming this, the outline of the peaks start to show, and we realize that we're about 100 meters too low on the trail for the photo we want. So we plow uphill to get set up. Short of breath, but beyond excited. For not more than a minute, it kind of opens up and leaves us with this.
Kind of in a rush of anticipation, we raced up the hill to try to find a better composition. Something we probably should have done like an hour ago. Raced up here, and then peaks kind of came out, the light kind of happened, and we kind of had some fun. It is, I don't know, 5:30 in the morning, and we've just driven up the hill to Alpa de Suzi. Oh, the headlights went off, so now you can't see me. And it is cold, -7 degrees, but the stars are out. And we're gonna hike under them to a good photo spot, I guess, if we don't freeze to death on the way.
If you've ever been on one of my photo trips, you know I'm a bit annoying.
Squad goals. Everybody hates me. It's 5 in the morning. Leave me alone.
Nobody ever likes the morning person. But it's the morning person that drags you out of bed, out into the cold and dark, to set you up for photos in epic places like this.
Okay, we made it up in time for sunrise, 15 minutes to spare. We're at kind of the view that I've photographed before. I wanted to show these guys this. Normally I photograph a little bit lower down and use this cabin as a foreground of a really wide image. I wanted to go a little bit more telephoto this year, and so I'm a little bit farther up on the hill, a little bit longer my focal length. I'm at 40 millimeters, and just using the road and these cabins and the peaks. The challenge of this morning is their sunrise is behind the mountains, so the light's a little bit intense, the backlight's a little bit intense. So I think it's going to be a matter of waiting until the sun actually comes up over the mountains and hitting a sun star and just getting this really nice light coming across the frame. So that's the goal.
With our feet frozen to the ground, we wait on bated breath so cold you can see it. Eventually, signs of light and warmth. And eventually, I get my sun star. Content with our work in the Dolomites, we head downhill. We're headed towards Cinque Terre, and apparently a big coastal storm. But as we stop to stretch our legs in Modena, under these blue skies, a storm feels impossible. Then, as we push south, the blue skies twist to darkness and the warm air turns to torrents.
Oh my God, torrential rain just now. And we have arrived in Cinque Terre. And luckily the rain has kind of stopped because we've got a little bit of a hike down into town with our luggage. But wow, absolutely crazy from the snow and clear skies this afternoon, or this morning I mean, to absolutely wild rain this afternoon, evening. But we've made it. We just gotta drag our shit down this hill.
Cinque Terre, a photographer's playground. And after a storm-swept night, we were out to see the wreckage in the morning.
So last night a crazy storm blew through, and I slept right through it. But some of the guys in the group were saying that their windows were rattling and it felt like it was all gonna come collapsing in. Absolutely crazy. This morning the aftermath is visible. There's vegetation scattered all over the place. There's beach scattered all over the place. Yeah, it's still kind of wild. We're in Monte Rosso al Mare, and I think we want to kind of try to capture the last bits of this storm. The waves are absolutely surging still. And so I have a couple photos in mind that I want to take. One is kind of a big vista as the sun rises with the crazy waves. And then the second is using this insane rock formation that's out in the water to capture some of the waves crashing into that. So I think there's 2 photos coming from this morning. I hope they're good.
It's impossible to capture the mood here. The waves are so intense that at times they jump up the 10-meter high wall and onto my head. I'm doing my best to find a frame that shows that sheer force in the sea, but it's tricky. My first attempt is a landscape orientation image, catching one of the waves rolling into the scene. My second is a square crop that's a bit more telephoto. Feeling like I'm capturing too much, I move towards the second composition I scouted. I think this image shows the force of the sea, but there's also no real sense of scale. I mean, this rock is at least 10 meters high.
Okay, so that was a crazy week. Started in Venice, ended up in the snow, and then down here on a coastal storm. Crazy week. I'm with Greg right now. Greg hasn't been on this video.
No.
Where have you been?
I've been here the whole time, but doing other things.
Anyway, down on the water, I was on the other side with half of the photography group, and Greg was on this side with the other half. And I'm having photography FOMO right now because Greg's got this awesome image with, what are you on, 100 to 400?
Yeah.
Here with the castle in the background and some contrasting lights and some epic waves. It looks pretty sick.
What it reminds me of is Cape Disappointment, which I think a lot of you guys probably know where that is, and one place you would love.
Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh because I was trying to think of a joke of wave of disappointment.
Cape Disappointment?
With
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
but I couldn't think of
But
anything.
it's really not that disappointing unless there's no waves. But
Yeah.
this is also not disappointing at all. Awesome end of the video. Hope you guys have liked it. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Let me tell you quickly about today's sponsor. Squarespace is an amazing place for photographers and bloggers to build a really professional looking website really quickly and easily. It has a lot of templates that make it simple to get started. You have great resources too, like members only areas, easy to build stores for selling arts and even services. Of course, there's also lots of other great tools for creators such as a logo maker and in-depth analytics. So if you're looking for a photography website or portfolio, head to squarespace.com/BrendanVanson for a 10% discount on your first purchase. Link in the description.